It started on a cold night, and within days, an entire town was locking its doors before sunset. Fear gripped the community fast, driving people off the streets the moment daylight faded. Residents began reporting terrifying encounters near the local forest. The descriptions were incredibly specific. Creatures walking upright, part human, part wolf, aggressively howling and chasing down anyone who lingered outside after dark. Panic accelerated when local security cameras caught the footage. The blurry, massive figures darted through the shadows, always marked by two bright, glowing eyes. Local police swept the woods. Scientists found nothing, no footprints or tracks. The town was left to assume the threat was entirely supernatural. Enter Detective Guddu. Instead of launching another search party into the dark woods, he treated the attacks as a dataset, isolating the specific variables of every reported sighting. This map plots every reported Wolfman encounter. The sightings aren't randomly scattered. They cluster tightly around one specific, abandoned factory. Cross-referencing testimonies revealed a second anomaly. Every victim reported hearing a distinct low hum right before the attack, perfectly matching that same geographical footprint. Wild predators don't restrict their hunting grounds to a perfect radius around a defunct industrial building. To Guddu, this data suggested the Wolfmen operated on a frequency that looked less like nature and more like a deliberate strategy. Guddu set up a stakeout at the factory limits. Right at midnight, the silhouettes of three massive furry figures emerged from the tree line. While the few bystanders in the area immediately screamed and ran for cover, Guddu held his position. Instead of drawing a weapon, he flipped the switch on a high-powered industrial spotlight and flooded the clearing with bright white light. The creatures instantly froze in their tracks. The glowing eyes set into their skulls suddenly flickered and went dark. Deprived of the cover of night, the three figures collapsed onto the dirt, completely giving up the chase. The monsters only possessed power within the ambiguity of the dark. By entirely stripping away the shadows, the psychological illusion of a supernatural threat evaporated in seconds. The fearsome creatures were actually three local criminals hiding inside custom-made furry suits. This exploded view schematic shows how they engineered the panic. The glowing eyes were constructed from standard LED masks wired into the skull, and that mysterious low hum came from acoustic speakers built directly into the chest cavities of the suits. The entire theatrical display was designed for crowd control. By establishing a perimeter of extreme fear, they effectively created a self-enforcing quarantine zone, ensuring no curious hikers or townspeople would go anywhere near the forest. With the area cleared of witnesses, the crew had been secretly running an excavation operation to dig up a massive cache of stolen gold buried near the factory grounds years earlier. The police recovered the entire hoard that same night. The criminals used the town's fear as a low-cost security system. By maintaining the Wolfman legend, they ensured their excavation would never be interrupted by a passerby. Order quickly returned to the community. Townspeople unlocked their doors, and police cruisers loaded up the handcuffed criminals to process them downtown. But while the streets felt safe again, the massive expanse of the untouched forest remained deeply isolated, completely cloaked in darkness. Then, a sound cut through the wind. A deep, resonant, and unmistakably biological howl echoed outward from deep within the tree line. The criminals were securely locked in the back of a squad car, and their audio rigs were sitting in an evidence bag. This unprompted acoustic anomaly instantly shattered the neatly closed case, plunging the environment right back into uncertainty. Guddu stopped. He turned away from the flashing lights of the departing police vehicles and stared back into the dense woods. Through the dense brush, an impossible visual anomaly stared back at him, two glowing eyes, entirely organic. Uncovering a fraud explains the motives of the criminals, but it does not erase the history of the woods. Exposing a hoax doesn't automatically disprove the existence of the original myth those criminals were copying. Guddu had dismantled the mechanical trickery, but the source of that final howl remained outside his reach. The logic that solved the factory case hit a wall at the edge of the forest.